Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2.
What's up, America? It's your girl bringing you some news you can use. We are live at the #1 internet radio station, intellectualradio.com, which is an iHeart radio station. You can check us out locally, nationally, internationally. You can also follow us on intellectualradio.com. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook Live. And you can join us today at our watch party live. My goal here today is to inform, educate, entertain, and hopefully inspire. So please share the broadcast. In this intellectual dialogue hour, we're going to be sharing information, giving introspection, and providing some inspiration. Today's guest is phenomenal. She's been in the political arena for years. She is amazing. She has been the same personality, and character since the day I met her. She'll be joining us in the studio. She just got promoted to Senate Assistant Majority Leader, Senator Kimberly Lightford. She will be joining us shortly. I want to say to all my listeners, believe in yourself. Keep your vision alive. Whatever it is, keep it alive. Be the best you that you can be. And take action on your vision every single day. And I say that because yesterday we had a meeting to talk about 2 topics. We only touched on one. But everyone there had the vision to excel and go to the next level. And we were not all over the place, but we were sowing seeds into each other, helping each other gain or obtain new customers and clients. Right at my house in the basement, and it was phenomenal. And I'm going to be having those type of events called breakout sessions, and we have to generate revenue. So next week is the day. January 28th is the day. I don't know what day that falls on, but it falls on what?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
But next Tuesday we're going to be talking about, and I'm going to post it. You can join the Penny Club
Monday
and save $1,050 just by saving pennies, or you can join the 30-day monthly club and save $500 in 30 days. So I guess I'm going to have to post this Sunday evening so we can jumpstart it Monday, and then we'll talk about it on Tuesday here on this platform. It's time to do something different. So if you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, and your results are the same or not what you anticipate, that's called insanity. Look it up. Insanity. Google it. Bing it. Go to the dictionary. Stop doing that. Like, stop right now. Like, right this second. If you know someone doing it, tell them to stop the madness. It's time to walk into your dopeness. Remember, I talked about this last week, and I challenge each and every one of you all to change and do something different. Some of you all don't make your bed every morning. To get to millionaire and billionaire status, that's something you should do every morning so that there's no chaos when you come back. Everything is neat when you come back into your house. That's number 1. Make sure you eat a breakfast, whatever your breakfast entail. That should be something you should do every morning. You should also do some form of exercise or stretching or meditation before you touch your cell phone, before you go on social media, before you pick up your tablet. Those are 3 things you should do relentless every single day, 365 days, 7 days a week. You should be doing that. And if you're not doing that, you should start today. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, not February 1st, not March, not when you get your income tax, not all that. You need to start right now. Because if you don't start now, when are you going to start? You have to start. I worked out with Emmanuel Welch. He had a New Year, New You this past Saturday. Even though it snowed, there was a bunch of us there. We had yoga. There were vendors there. I had D. Flat Tommy Water in the building. I acquired several new customers from the Broadview School. And even the principal is on her journey, and she's going to try the water and give me, her honest opinion. But I met some amazing people there Saturday. The yoga instructor was phenomenal. And then we had a dope trainer. Yeah, I am definitely out of shape because when we got down on the floor to do these exercises, my bones was popping all over the whole gym. And I was like, God, oh my goodness, I can't do this. And I said, yes, I can. Mm-hmm. And he was like, just pace yourself. Just, breathe in and pace yourself. And I really feel like I had an out-of-body experience. I feel like my body left the gym. Like literally, I don't know. But I think it was like, have you lost your mind, Darci? Like, what's wrong with you? But it was phenomenal. We had a great time. That was a 40 or 45-minute workout. And guess what? I was huffing and puffing and fussing, but I made it through that workout. And I am proud of me. So I had to pat myself on the back when I left there. But then when I woke up Sunday morning, I could barely move. But, we have to start somewhere. So let that be a goal. Whatever 3 things you want to start, implement that today. Share this broadcast today. Now, we have some bills to pay, but we're going to be talking about that. We're going to have a candid conversation with one and only phenomenal Senator Kimberly Lightford. And then at the bottom of the hour, we have a question. Are you tired of repeated denials of justice at the hands of our judicial system? The Jason Van Dyke verdict. Was the judge's decision a slap in the face for the McDonald family? So we're going to talk about that at the bottom of the hour. I would love for you to chime in. So before we do that, let me go ahead and give you the phrase that pays. Let me go ahead and do that. Before I do that, I done had 2 Krispy Kremes. Shame on me. I mean 2, and I want a 3rd one, but I can't do it. So today's intro is sponsored by none other than Krispy Kreme. Their mission is to make the most awesome donuts on the planet every single day, and they are. Oh my God, it don't even make sense. Their hours are 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. Their website is Krispy Kreme with a K, KrispyKreme.com. They have 3 locations, 17815 South Halsted Street in Homewood, 9150 Southwestern Avenue in Evergreen Park, and the new location, 110 South Manheim Road in Hillside. So visit a store near you. The donuts are addictive. Trust and believe. Oh my God. They are good. And then I have a special announcement. These young ladies will be doing their a mini segment on Thursday. So get ready for that. Support them and share and have people tune in. So the phrase that pays, if today is your birthday, let me give my little birthday quote. Well, matter of fact, we're going to put Alicia on the spot. Before I give you the phrase that pays, we'll put Alicia on the spot, and she's going to sing happy birthday to those who are celebrating their birthday today. Take it away, girl.
All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
All right. Oh my goodness.
I love when you was like,
so I can't wait for her to sing on my birthday because we will be live here in the studio on my birthday, which is February 7th. It's falling on Thursday.
Oh wow. That's
so awesome. I have 2 birthday celebrations. I'm celebrating my birthday on the 7th and then again on the 19th. It's on a Sunday. So I'll be giving you guys the locations. If you can't come to one, come to the other. But I would love for you to come and celebrate my birthday with me. And
that's
yes,
awesome.
I'm a year younger. It works like that. That's just how it is.
She got that Benjamin.
Got it.
So you said the 19th is the second
it's
celebration?
The following Sunday, yeah.
Okay.
So the phrase that pays, working for success will make you a master, but working for satisfaction will make you a legend. Working for success will make you a master, but working for satisfaction will make you a legend. IntellectualRadio.com and iHeartRadio station. Back in a moment, so don't go anywhere.
Sleeping. Oh, that's what that was, the senator?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just have
So
to.
don't go.
No, I was just trying to get it to
Focus.
Yeah, focus. I don't know why it's not, but I'm good.
Imagine yourself with skin so clear and beautiful, you feel confident to go after all the things you
Working
want.
for satisfaction would do what?
Proactive Plus. It
That's a huge difference. Look at that. Proactive Plus makes
Working for
me feel
success will make you a master. Working for satisfaction will make you.
To help seek out and fix problem areas on your skin. And it's proven to work 4 times faster than the leading prescription.
I just have to. You're fine.
I started seeing results with Proactive Plus within the first week.
Now's the best time ever to order because we're offering extra savings to first-time customers. Call 1-800-773-5681 to get our 3-step system plus free gifts and
What?
free shipping.
Good.
So what?
Like you good. You good. I hope you feel better.
I think it's a delay, definitely, but I didn't notice it jumping.
No, it's like maybe if I sit down, maybe it's not doing it no more.
That's okay.
You saw it on there
We're
jumping?
just glad you're here.
Yeah. Because it's focusing, the people coming in and out, and I think it's focusing like
But
what?
it was focusing like, see, look, watch, see how you move
Oh,
it.
And I'm sick.
It's okay.
So,
Well, I
and
come
I
against.
didn't get a chance to
I can still. That's not gonna keep you. That's not gonna stop you from taking a picture afterwards. I just want you to know.
I just don't want nobody.
We just
to
come
catch
against
nothing.
all the. We just come against all the germs. In Jesus'
In the name
name.
of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus.
Ready, Darcy?
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2.
I don't know.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, we talked about things you should be doing for 2019. And if you're getting the same results, that's called insanity. You do something different. So I'm challenging each and every one of you to do something different. If you want to join us in the save along for the pennies a day and and save $1,050, we're going to post that on Sunday evening. If you want to do the 30-day challenge and save $500, it's $1 every day. So we're going to tell you how you can do that, and we're going to start on the 28th of January and end on February 28th. And so February 28th, you're going to need $1. January 28th, you're going to need $1. January 29th, you're going to need $2, and we're going to go on. And so if you got pay periods that you do, we got one set up for you and how you do it. But the goal is to save $500 in 30 days. So I did it 5 months out of 12 last year. And so I'm challenging each and every one of you all to save, because a lot of us don't have anything saved. And if anything happens, we don't know what to do. Or we're going to the payday loan store, or we're borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, and we have to stop that madness in 2019.
Yes.
So y'all see how I just blinked my eyes and Center of Life just appeared here in the building? That's how we roll it here on Intellectual Radio. So we're going to let her introduce herself. She's not feeling well, so send her y'all hearts and love and prayers, and I'm going to let her introduce herself to you all.
Hi, good morning, and thank you, Darcy, for letting me join you today. I'm State Senator Kimberly Lightford. I just was appointed to be the majority leader of the Senate, which is the number 2 spot in the Illinois Senate, and I'm the first African-American woman to hold that position. I've served for 20 years in the legislature. I'm very passionate about education and youth development, and I'm hoping that in this new role and with the new governor, that it will allow me an opportunity to bring additional resources to my constituents. So that is my goal.
Congratulations. Now, I'm finna roll back on this
Okay,
journey
come
right
on,
here.
take me
So,
back, Darcy.
2009. You started in 2009, Kimberly.
That sounds like it's like right around the corner, but really it's like
No,
nine.
no, I was elected in 1998.
In 1998?
Yes, I'm 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah, so in
Oh my
2009,
goodness.
I've been 10 years in a couple months.
Okay.
And that's when I passed that first big education reform bill
Right.
that hadn't been
Yeah,
done
I
in
remember
30
that.
years. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So now, okay, we're going to fast back 20 years. So before you got into the political arena, what made you get into that? What was your hobby growing up in school?
Well, you know, Darcy, it wasn't nothing that I set out to do.
Okay.
I've never been attracted to social studies, you know, didn't like world history.
Right.
In college, I never took any history classes. I was more into African American studies. You know,
Okay.
when I was in college, I found out how great we are as a people, because in grammar school and high school, they didn't teach us nothing beyond Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and the bus movement. But when I went there and found out about all these great writers and inventors, and I really got engaged with African American studies, so that became my minor in college. So I had a double minor. But it wasn't until I came home, I was working for the Secretary of State. and Eugene Moore was our state representative at that time, and I came through Proviso with his son, and so I just knew him as Mr. Moore. And he's like, hey, come here, over here, what you doing? You know, kind of thing. I said, I'm at Secretary of State. So I began to help Eugene with constituents out in Proviso area with driver's license and state ID issues. I left Secretary of State and I went to graduate school. So I went to Springfield, I'm in graduate school, and then I began doing internship work with the House Democrats. And so I just got exposed to the process, but it wasn't anything I was looking to do. It was just killing time in Springfield, because if the legislature isn't there, there's nothing really going on. So either I was beating 55 up, going back and forth, you know. And so I graduated, and Gene says, you should run for trustee in Maywood. And so that's when I'm thinking, what is a trustee? What do they do? You know? And he said, it's your generation that's all cracked up. Either you guys do well, you don't come back home to your communities to make a difference, or the ones who remain are on drugs, they have drug addictions. And I'm like, well, you putting that whole generation on me, Jane?
Like, you just like
how you put that whole generation on me? So,
like, dang.
And I was headed to Florida, federal penitentiary system. I was working at corrections. I did my graduate work on the electronic monitoring program. So I was actually moving to Florida, so he had a point. But then I came home at Christmas, and the Maywood Park District was boarded up. This was, I came home that Christmas. This was Christmas of '96, and the Maywood Park District, Christmas of '95, and the Maywood Park District was boarded up. And I'm thinking, how could that be? This was like the place that all of us hung out at some point in our life. If we weren't toddlers on the big swings, we was in the inside having the blue light specials and the parties, after school and things like that, after the basketball games and stuff. So I felt like, we were doing an injustice to the youth in the community, and that maybe I did need to run for office and try to help out with youth development and senior services. So I came home from graduate school, I ran for trustee, I was elected trustee for the first time. I had to be about 27, 28.
Wow.
And then Earlene Collins was my predecessor. If you guys remember Earlene, she had been senator for 20 years, and she decided to retire and run for Cook County Commissioner. And so then that's when Eugene Moore, Mayor Joe Freeline was the first African-American mayor of Maywood. And Bishop Claude Porter at POCCA, he was Reverend Porter back then. He didn't have that bishop
Right,
yet.
now he got the bishop.
He was Reverend Porter. So Reverend Porter and Joe Freeline, Eugene Moore called me on a three-way on my job. I was at Central Management Services, now in the Business Enterprise Program for minorities and females and persons with disabilities. And they suggested to me that you ought to run for Senate. And I'm like, for what? I was like just 28. And I'm like, for what? And I was like, I can't beat Kara Mosley Brown. And then they all started laughing.
With the hats?
They all started laughing, and I was thinking, they said, no, not Kara Mosley Brown, because we had just supported her. They like, no, state Senate, not U.S. Senate. And then that's when I'm like, oh, okay. So I thought Earlene was running. They go, no, she's going to retire. There are 6 other candidates in the race, and we think you should run. So I enter a race as the 7th candidate, and Proviso just voted me in with some really, really big numbers.
Wow.
And my family roots are from the West Side, so I had West Side support.
West Side,
baby. So I had West Side support, and I was elected in '98, and I'm still here in 2019.
Wow. That has been a journey.
It has been an incredible journey. So just imagine, you beautiful young lady, now you got to grow up in front of the public eye. So I got married, I got divorced, I had a baby, I got married.
Yep, I
all
remember
that. I became a single mother, and and so I've been living my 30s and my 40s in front of the public's eye, and it was something that no one could have told me I would be doing. I love public service. I love helping people, but I didn't know that it was going to be all this other stuff. The politics of it, and And all the speaking engagements, you know, my heart still be fast. And
That's
after
good
20
though.
years,
That's really good.
Girl, no,
You can't
that's,
tell.
that's
You can't
anxiety.
tell.
You know,
You can't tell.
that
You
builds
can't tell.
anxiety.
She get
I
right
be
up-
overwhelmed, like, oh my God, I got to do this again.
She get right up on that mic and she just go.
You
Once
know-
she starts,
You know
that's
what?
it.
You know what's awesome about that? What somebody told me a long time ago is that when I was about to get up and go speak, and I asked somebody, "Do you still get nervous?" And they said they do. And they told me the reason why you get nervous and the reason why you need to embrace that nervousness because it's Holy Spirit raising up in you and sitting you down. You don't have no control. You don't know what's gonna happen. See, when you get up and you get it all together, be scared of that.
Right.
Cause that's you. And you ain't got none of him in you. Right? Like, I don't care what you speaking. You could be speaking to the garbage men of 2019. But so I want to encourage you to know that's good that you still have that. Because I'm sorry.
That's a blessing to know that.
Yeah.
So you just blessed me.
Yes.
like
So
that.
now
That's
embrace
good.
that and be like, oh God, you with me.
I know it. You know, my prayer is always that He speak through us, so
Yes.
my life is shine, so He could get the glory. Because none of this is really about me. I know that I'm being used and led through God, and I know that I wouldn't be doing it if not, because it wasn't something I set out to do. And
Hold that thought. We have a call, so press that.
Which button?
This is on.
Oh, on. I thought he said armed.
Hello, caller. State your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, this is Deborah Vine.
Hi, Deborah.
Hey, Deb.
Hey, Deb.
Hey, everybody. I just wanted to call, and everybody knows I love Senator Lightford, but I just wanted your listening audience to know just how amazing and passionate she is, and we are blessed, super blessed, to have her in the 4th District and the majority leader.
Yes, we
That's
are.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Deborah. Thanks for calling in. So one of the things that keeps me motivated is organizations like Deborah's, the Answer Inc. Incorporated. So when you're trying to build up advocacy around issues in your district that you see is missing, you know, it just so happened that Deborah's son has autism and she is passionate about it. And I noticed that there wasn't any supportive services in African American communities like Maywood and Bellwood and Broadview. I was supporting the Special Rec Association, and they were in Forest Park and Oak Park and Forest Park. And I'm thinking, well, how does that support lend out to the Black communities in Proviso? And it really wasn't relevant. It wasn't present. So you would have to take your kids away from their communities. They didn't have special rec services like through the Park District or through the libraries. And I noticed that's something Deborah was willing to do. So I was in support of getting behind her. She came to my office to meet with me for the very first time. I didn't know Deborah. And she came to my office because she said some people told her, you should go talk to Senator Lightford. So she comes in, and Deborah has a bold spirit.
Yes, she does.
And, you know, and it's okay with me, you know, because I love Black women. I love us. I think we're beautiful.
Yes.
And when we have a spirit-led job to do, and we know it's coming from the Lord, we can't channel it. I enjoy sitting down talking to her and kind of like, you know, jiving with her, like, what would this look like? How many people can you help? You know, is it just autism? Is it different forms of disabilities? Like, what could you really do? And she just took that on, and she has grown and has really helped so many families with autism in the African American community. So I really applaud her efforts, and I enjoy supporting the Answer Incorporated.
So tell us about some of these bills.
The new stuff that's on the line. So you know what? You guys just mentioned payday loans, which was one of my biggest bills. That industry, I had to fight with them for like 10 years because do you know they were charging people 700%?
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that.
700%.
I'm a product.
Because they wasn't regulated.
I get it.
You did it?
It's bogus. Yes. It's really bad.
Yeah.
But they
700%.
But they pull on your need. When you have a need at that moment, you don't care about what you're about to pay back in 2 months. You need to take care of the need. That's what you're thinking, which is terrible.
Right.
Well, no,
because that creates another issue.
Yes,
it does.
Totally bad.
But for me, that means that they are sharking.
Yeah.
They're taking advantage of vulnerable people who are in need, and then they'll say, "Well, I'll give you this," and they'll dangle it in front of you, but you're gonna have to pay this for.
You're gonna pay triple.
And you're gonna pay more than triple.
And I bet you the majority was women.
Black women
Yeah.
and Hispanic women.
So yeah, I know
And
what
so
it
you
is.
just fall into this position, and women in rural areas. So I would just say low income poverty women, because you have women that are Caucasians that benefit from the payday loan industry. Now the thing about them is that, okay, you provide a service that the bank isn't willing to provide, but do you have to charge them
I think that's a
700%?
lot.
So I had to work really hard to get that percentage down. I got them down to like 90, 99.
And that's still a lot.
Yeah, which is still a lot, but compared to 700%.
That's like 90%.
Exactly.
You took it down. That's amazing.
I was trying to get them around 30%, which is the maximum your credit card could charge.
Right.
Now, to me, that makes sense.
That should be decent. Right.
But I couldn't get the support that I needed.
Because they want to make that, they want to make their money, and that's why I try to talk about on this show is the 7 streams of income. There's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5, but you have to have something else to fall back on in case that doesn't work. Because they can lay you off at will now before they could. You have to go through formality. Now every couple of years things are changing, and so they can pay somebody else less and not give them benefits and do the same job. So everything is changing, and you got to grow with it. So I'm not saying that you should quit your job, but you got to have another stream of income. And then we have to also save. I have people that make 6 figures and come to me, I need $50 for gas money, and they just got paid like 2 days ago. And I'm looking at them like, you should fill up your car because that gets you to your job before you do anything else. But the mindset, they just don't think like that. You give me 50 and I give you 75 back. That's how they look at it.
Right, it's all about prioritizing. Right, you gotta prioritize.
That's street mentality.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
if you're gonna use your hustle, your street, use it in a grind that's gonna benefit you.
Yeah, that's true.
And God gives us so many gifts and talents, and a lot of times we just don't use them all. But if we have some that we can use that can give us that additional income and be on your grind with something positive, I encourage people. It's all about entrepreneurship. I got a side hustle, I do. And many people will, why? Because I don't get paid a whole lot in the legislature, but I have a side hustle. I love interior design, so that's what I do, you know. And so, that's what I do.
That's really good. Look, I'm gonna have to talk to her about that because they don't have a clue. I'd be like, I want this to look like that in the store.
Exactly.
Can you make my room
I'm
look like
same
that?
way. I know that is not my lane. And we have to learn
I know that
what's
ain't
your
my
lane and what's not your lane.
That is my lane. So another area I'm focused on is the minimum wage increase. So you know, I raised the minimum wage twice already. In 2003 from $5.15 to $6.50, and then I did it again in 2006 from $6.15 to the $8.25 that we're at now, and we rose up to that number in 2010, and we've been stuck there ever since. For 9 years we've been stuck.
Because two people can't work on a family and feed your house. You can't. It's not possible.
You with the taxes and then
rent.
And then the way jobs.
Oh, you can't afford.
And don't have a car that you need gas and insurance. I'm just saying.
And then the way jobs are set up, you have to. It's so much on the back end, life insurance, 401k that comes out your check. That by the time taxes and all the stuff that you need in a preventative way of taking care of your family, you broke.
Well, most jobs that pay minimum wage don't offer 401k
They don't.
or insurance. They're paying them part time to work, or
So
they
we
getting
talking
them up to
part-time.
or they getting them up to like 30 hours.
30 hours right before.
Just right under that number where they're responsible for insurance benefits. And so we need to change that dynamic to pull more people out of poverty, because what we're doing is still pushing them to rely on government assistance because they still don't have enough to make ends meet. So they still need to either be on Section 8 to help with housing, or they either need the link card for food. They need to be on a Comcast or ComEd. No, Comcast, they lucky they can get some cable. But ComEds to help them pay their electricity bills. And so all of these other areas they still need help in, because the employers are just taking advantage of them and not paying them what they're worth.
And they're working.
So we're gonna. They're not asking for a handout. They working.
But it's not. It's like you get me right here, but I still got all this I gotta do.
And what's terrible is that it's always a cap. And they'll say, hey, we can give you this, but you can only make $12,000, and now here you are making $13,000, and now you can't get nothing.
You're still struggling.
So now it's like, well, I should quit my job then, because
or go from full-time to part-time.
You know, it's just it's terrible. It's terrible.
Because it's right here. I know I gotta sneeze. Thank you. So daycare services is a part of it too, because then you don't qualify for anything.
They say you make too much money, and you be like, how could you make too much money?
Right. How can you make too much and you still can allow for your child or children to be in a safe environment where they're being taken care of while you out trying to work or go to school. So I think we just have them in a vicious cycle. And it's time for us to make sure that we increase the minimum wage enough to make it a living wage. I'm not saying pay them where, you know, they're going to be the wealthiest of people, but put them in that working class range where they go to work and they get paid for the work that they do, and they can have a normal lifestyle. Like maybe go to the movies, or maybe go out to
because they
eat,
can't. A lot of people get frustrated because they're saying, I work, I'm getting the link card, I'm getting help with daycare, and I can't get my hair done. I can't I can't just beautify me. Just do something for me. So I'm working, and they're saying it's got to be more to life than this.
Right. Right.
So.
And I think that was a valid point that you brought up, because I don't understand why people get so frustrated with people who do want to raise the minimum wage. There's so many people that be like, well, if you want, you know, to get paid more, you need to go to school and this, and it's like, that's a whole nother, that's apples and oranges.
That's still another bill though,
right,
and
we're not, and exactly, and if we're just talking about blue collar workers, the fact is that we don't have a lot of blue collar jobs anymore. We have customer service jobs, we have retail jobs, we don't have any mills or factories, and the fact is that you don't want to pay people to work in a factory, because there's so many things that come with that. Like kudos to places like Amazon that do still have factories and stuff like that, and they do pay their workers a livable wage, but they're there all day. They're there from 6 to 6. I used to work at Amazon. So you're there for 12 hours, and then you come home, sleep a few hours, and then you got to do it all over again. So it's like you said, what is the problem with giving people a livable lifestyle? Why is that against people so much? You know, we have people who buy yachts and planes and buy all of this expensive stuff, and you live your life to the fullest. Yes, you worked for it. We're not taking away from that. But what about people who don't? You know what I mean? Why is it so hard to pay your workers a livable wage? When your workers are happy, your customers are going to be happy. And even if you do have to raise your prices slightly, the fact is that the more that you treat your customers like people, the more the more that
stay.
And they'll stay. Just like Chick-fil-A is a great example where the customer service is phenomenal. Like I'll go on a broke day and be like, you know what, I just want some good customer service. So I just feel like we should start working towards.
Ain't that good,
right? But when you think about the pay of the CEO of Amazon, Google the pay. They make millions for their salaries.
Exactly.
So they can afford those shots. You don't have to increase your costs and pass it on to
this
consumers.
is also true.
You just get paid a little less than your salary.
Exactly.
Right? So why does 10 people across the board salaries all got to be in 7 figures? Or why are they high in 6 figures? You know, so instead of them putting the onus on making sure their employees live a decent lifestyle, they're just making sure that their lifestyle is beyond measure, you know. And I'm not a hater of people who do that, because that's my goal still. You know, maybe before I pass on, you know, and go to heaven.
Give me a yacht and a plane.
Yeah, maybe I can have my own private jet or something, or either fly first class a couple times. You know, I ain't asking for a whole lot, you know. But the people you around, you see how well they do at the expense of hurting others. That's the whole point.
And get loopholes when it comes to taxes.
And they get
it's
loopholes.
Because now Trump done changed all the things you could claim or write off. So now when you do your taxes, you think the money you was getting back last year and the year before, that's changing. People are telling me now they got to pay back and they're not getting any money back.
How is he the president and he never disclosed his taxes?
Never.
So you know that's a joke. So you know he has some things going on because they know how to beat the system. But yet low wage workers, we pay the highest taxes. So the progressive income tax is really important. We've been trying to push a progressive income tax in this state for a very long time. So I'm hoping that you guys can educate your listeners on the importance of a progressive income tax.
Tell us about the progressive income
tax. So a progressive income tax, you pay on a scale based on the amount of money you bring in. So you're not going it won't be a flat number across the board. So if you only make $20,000 a year and this person make $3 million a year, you guys shouldn't be paying the same amount of taxes. So the progressive income tax is adjusted based on your income level, and that will help a lot of poor people. Notice how if you go into communities, our gasoline is $2.89. But if you just mosey on down, you know, Roosevelt a little bit going west, you start seeing the gasoline price drop. So you might want to go over, you know, a little bit further to get gas. And you like, I could never understand that. Well, why that gas don't cost the same
It's like
amount
20,
as our
almost
gas?
sometimes 30-cent difference.
And so poor people pay more.
Yes.
But everything.
And don't go in the city and need gas.
But it's ridiculous.
Yes. And
Poor people pay more.
Yes.
Going to our little grocery stores.
Yes.
Everything costs more.
Yes.
It costs more to eat. It costs more to gas up your vehicle. It costs more to live.
Yes.
Just go in these places. That's why a lot of people moving. You try to move further to the suburbs because you can get a nice place for $100, $200 a month less than what you get in the inner city. So it costs you more to be poor.
That's true, because my parents live in Palatine, so Lake Zurich is right at the cusp of it. And I'm always, when I'm there, I'm always going to Lake Zurich. The gas was $1.96 last night. And I was like, oh my God. And here, I think I passed $2.35. Anytime you see under $2, you think I get a lick.
This gas.
Right.
I'm filling up my tank.
I hate when I'm full and I see something like that. But that, I didn't think about it.
But
like
that's the regression. That's the regressive tax that we're in. We're in this tax where you pay more when you make less. And so the progressive tax will reverse that dynamic and allow you to pay on a scale of what your income is. So if I only make $20,000 a year, I shouldn't be paying what that same person who make $150,000 a year.
Right.
You know, at some point you got to look at that. And so hopefully that will be helpful to families as well with keeping more income in their pocket.
So you're working, that's the bill that you all are working on now?
We're working on a progressive income tax. We're working on a minimum wage increase. We're working on, you know, I'm going to throw this out there for your listeners because you could spend a whole show talking about medical and recreational marijuana.
Oh,
Yes.
So we know we have medical in the state now, but the doctors aren't writing the prescriptions as much. And so Illinois is not receiving the benefit like Colorado and California.
So we need people to go get the...
You need your prescriptions if you need the medication. So all of the underground places where you can still get medical support is not being taxed. So the state is not realizing the benefit, right?
Wow.
So now if we add recreational onto it, I think it would be very helpful for a number of reasons, because then we start talking criminal justice reform around it and everything else, because some of that has to make sure it happens, because we don't want cops to start racial profiling us more, because then they'll say, well, you're allowed to have X amount of weight on you, but you had this amount of weight on you, and now you're going to get locked up versus this person, because recreational becomes legal. What it would do is generate a lot of money. So we're trying to figure out how do we generate the revenue we needed to make sure that our state begin to pay down its debt and get us back into a balanced budget. So that whole discussion around medical marijuana, recreational marijuana is really big, and I want you guys to really dig deep into it, because
I'm
so much
familiar
to
with the
learn
medical
from
part,
so
but I'm
many
learning
angles.
about the
recreational.
because I suffer from migraines, and my doctor has been coming to me since September.
So when you need to smoke weed?
They just gave me prescription. I'm just scared because they like you get the
Darci,
munchies.
you already have 25
Well,
pounds.
you know, I can't. I'm like, I can't. I don't want munchies. I don't want He was like, no, it's medical, so it's not like getting on the street, because that's what my mind going, right?
Well, you know what?
But he said it will help with my migraines. They did studies and it helps. He said, well, you can do the gummy bears. You can do
the brownies, the cookies.
So they
I
got a
get it.
nasal spray.
Yeah, so when I went to Vegas for the first time,
and they have a lotion.
You can like rub it on your temples.
On your temple.
You don't even have to intake.
Right.
You don't
the
have
temples
to
to the back of your
consume.
neck. So he told me that they gave me like 3. And they had me research it, and I go back next week, and they want me to figure out which one I want to try because of my migraines. But they did the study.
Yeah, it might help. So I went to Vegas, and they have it there. Yeah. So I see what you're talking about as far as giving it back to the state, because
it was recreational.
They have well, actually, it's both. So you walk into this, just real quick. You walk into this room. It's like a doctor's office, right? It blew my mind. I used to smoke weed a long time ago. I don't smoke weed no more. Since 2009, I used to get a whole bunch of eyes and whatever. But so now not being sober, not smoking, and I was really amazed at this process, because you walk into this room, it's like the doctor's office. You give them your ID.
Yeah.
They say, okay, well, you can you'll have this much. Then you walk into this room and it's just all kind of stuff, like you said. It's the Rice Krispie treats. Everybody behind the cashier was lit. And I was just amazed at the process. But I get what you're saying as far as how we need that to make money for the state. And the doctors are not writing the prescriptions. Like, that doesn't even make any, like in Las Vegas, everybody was getting recreational and for medical reasons. Everybody was in line. And for medical reasons, you just had to have some kind of paper.
Oh, yes.
That said it.
You know, you have PTSD as a huge symptom.
Yes.
And then we added more symptoms. So fibromyalgia, it really affects women, and it's the nervous system. I have fibromyalgia, and it's very painful.
It definitely is.
Yeah, and it's not. And I was underdiagnosed for 6 years trying to figure out what it was. So I would go to the doctor, and they said, "Well, you're borderline lupus." Like, what is borderline lupus?
Right.
Either I have lupus or I don't. Then it was arthritis. Then it was endometriosis. They never could tell me what was wrong with me. I had to go to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota to find out that I had fibromyalgia. And so then they said, well, take this pill, Lyrica. So you guys see it on the commercial.
Yes, all the time.
The first 20 seconds tell you how it helps you. The rest of the 2 minutes,
what's going to happen to you
tell
after
you
you
how
take
you're going to jump off a roof or something. You're going to blow up.
Or have diarrhea all day long.
And all of those things happen. The symptoms are really terrible with that pill, and I couldn't take them anymore.
Yes.
But for me, I think that if you have a health hazard and you get a medical license, you just find out what's the best fit for you. So if you don't want to consume, then you use the lotion or you use the drop or whatever it is that would be a different. Yeah, it's hemp. It's hemp.
Yeah.
It's hemp products. It's sativa at different levels of it. So when it's naturally grown and it's harvested the way it's supposed to, and it's not street recreation, then it affects you differently. So if you have breast cancer, then there is
something that you can
take to help ease your pain of breast cancer when you're going through chemo.
And you can do edible or whatever, like you said, the gummy bears.
Yeah. They make butter out of it, so you pretty much cook with it. So you can, like if you scramble your eggs in the morning, you can use it, and it'll relax your nervous system or your muscles, or in Darci's case, her migraines. Right. So it just
my temples, rub it in my temples, the back of my neck, the palms.
Right. All of your trigger points. So for fibromyalgia, we have trigger points on our bodies. So if you rub that on your trigger points, it goes right into the nervous system and start calming the nerves down. Because fibromyalgia is not a muscle ache; it's a nervous system.
And my friend has it, and it takes her out.
Oh,
she can't hardly even function.
Can't move.
The nerve. She says it's like pins.
Yes, just
going into her body. And it helps when people massage like her feet and things like that. Yeah. So, blessed that you were able to like function in this kind of position, having that, because you can't like call sick.
I'm sure she has a good day. You have your good days.
Yeah.
And you have your flare-up days. Yeah. And the secret to it, because there's no cure. So once you accept that you have this lifetime illness, that helps you, the stress level, and then you have to learn how to manage it. Like, what do I do to prevent myself from having the flare-ups? So what did I eat? How did I over-exalt myself? What type of stress, depression did I put myself under that causes these flare-ups?
You're watching everything.
Yeah.
Because I keep a journal now.
Yeah.
They want me to keep a journal. Because you have to watch, just like she said,
the
what you eat, where you go, a conversation, and how you react to it. Just, it's little things.
And when you think you're feeling better, you do what they call a burnout, because now you got to vacuum, you got to do laundry, you got to grocery shop.
You're trying to get everything in before it come back.
And then you can't move the next 3-4 days after.
That's how
exhausted.
And it's called burnout. So share with her, if she go on the Mayo Clinic website for fibromyalgia, it will give her some information on how to manage.
You said Mayo Clinic?
Mayo, M-A-Y-O, Mayo Clinic.
Okay.
So we're going to take a pause. I'm having a ball. I'm elated talking to Senator Kimberly Lightford. We're going to come back and she's going to talk about some of the education reform she's done. I also want to hear her viewpoint on the Van Dyke verdict. And so stay close, share the broadcast. We got some magnificent nuggets coming your way. You're tuned in to intellectualradio.com, which is an iHeart radio station. You can catch us locally, internationally, and nationally. So don't go anywhere. Back in a moment.
Oh, that's just
That was you?
dope.
What's your name?
I'm Ebony Sarah Louise Kelly.
got like
Oh,
5 names.
girl. Ebony. Did you say Sarah?
Ebony Sarah Louise Kelly. Yes.
So it's Sarah and Louise your grandparents?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You prophesy. You like it to 2 men. But yes, the only girl with 2 grandmothers. So they had to not to piss off
You
nobody.
both.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Thank you for knowing
She
that.
already knew that.
Because they sound country. They sound country.
I stay in Bolingbrook.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I stay in Bolingbrook, and then I halfway live with my boyfriend on the west side.
What's halfway?
Halfway is I come visit
You got
on
a drawer?
weekends.
You got a drawer?
I got a drawer.
Yeah, you
I
know
got
what
a drawer.
halfway
Yeah,
means. Don't be
exactly.
bothering her.
Exactly.
Like you've been there before. You've
Yeah,
been
it's,
there.
Well,
you
you
know
know-
what? He stay out in Austin, and I stay out in the suburbs, and he has family out in the suburbs, so that's how we met. But it's easier than because he got like his whole little
Ready,
basement
Darci?
area
Five,
down
four,
in
three,
there.
two.
So it's easy.
Welcome back. We are having a phenomenal time. I am so elated that Kimberly Lightford has blessed us with the busy schedule she has, embracing our platform. We're learning so much about her journey, her success, her love and drive for education and helping the community where she grew up at. And she's going to share with us. She's working on, she did the bills with the minimum wage twice, and she's working on it again. And then she told us about this new progressive
Income
tax. So you all need to do your homework on progressive tax, because I know I'm looking that up this weekend and seeing what I can do, because we need that like yesterday. And she also played a role with the payday loans. So she is actively working to help our community, which we so much need and appreciate. And then she's going to tell us about some of the other education reforms that she has worked on.
I have a quick question real quick. I'm just curious on how by law that minimum wage could be held in one spot for 9 years, why everything else around us is going up. Your rent is going up, your gas is going up, buying a car. Like, is it because whoever makes that decision doesn't have like an accountability up? You know, how are you able to keep that law?
So the federal government actually sets a minimum wage, and the federal government has not raised its minimum wage. So states like Illinois, we've taken upon ourselves to raise our wage higher than the federal government. So we're one out of maybe it's about 21 states now who has their wage higher than the federal wage. So if you looked up the federal wage right now, it's less than $8.25.
So and they can keep it like that for the next 30 years.
They can keep it like that until someone in the federal government says, well, congressperson or senator say we need to raise the minimum wage, and then they'll debate and fight over it. And I think they raised it during Obama's administration, I believe, once.
Yeah.
But it hasn't moved again. And
So someone on
under Trump is probably likely not to move. So every state has the ability to raise their own minimum wage.
But it's no one like in the U.S., like Senate or Congress can do it worldwide, to raise federal, keep raising, like every 3 years have to be able to raise it.
And see, that's the thing, there's a thing called a CPI, which is your consumer price index, that says, with just like a COLA, if you were to get 3% every year on an annual basis, the CPI says that this is a price index and this is how much you ought to get paid based on inflation. So we've been trying to raise the minimum wage and attach that CPI to it so that it can raise 3% or whatever that percent is annually, where we don't have to go back to the table and debate and fight over a minimum wage increase. And every time we can never get it passed with the CPI in there, because they don't want that to happen. You know, the business entity that we were talking about fights really hard against a minimum wage increase, and their resources kind of tout people who are poor and don't have enough resources. They can't get that fight up as much as the retailers can and the merchants. And so you got the retail merchants, the restaurant association, the manufacturers association, you got corporate, all the businesses that come and say we're opposed to a minimum wage increase. And so then the fight and the debate and the struggle begins, which is what I enjoy,
Yes.
I love the negotiation
That's
of that,
good.
and I love being on the end for the people. And
Yes.
as an underdog, you know, and saying, hey, you're not going to continue to treat my people like this. We need to eat, right? So I'll fight a debate over minimum wage all day long. So I passed a minimum wage bill to take it to $10. Then I passed one to take it to 11, and I passed one to take it to 13. Now this is me getting it past the Senate, but the bill also has to pass the House, and the bill didn't get past the House. So then last year, year before, had a new representative. He came in with SEIU, and they had a minimum wage increase for $15 an hour. And I passed it in the Senate, but then Rauner never signed it. So now we're starting. So now we're starting over again for the fight for 15. And so within that $15 fight, there are some provisions. You know, it doesn't just affect the cost of minimum wage, but they have what they call a teen sub minimum, which means teens get paid less than what that wage is. So right now, our teens get paid 50 cents less than the $8.25. So teens, if you're 16 to 18, you're getting paid 50 cents less. So you're at $7.75. And so a lot of like the park districts, Great America, they all came out big against it because they don't see paying teenagers $14 an hour. They feel like, or if they're working in a concession stand at a movie theater, or if they're working, you know, they don't want to pay them. Or if they're in a grocery store, you know, and they're bagging groceries, which we don't have too many grocery stores that bag groceries.
No,
in fact,
but
they
the
charge
bag
you for, and they
is
charge you
your-
for the bag, baby.
Yeah.
Which is another point that you were saying, that if you stay in a poor neighborhood, because in the suburbs, they don't charge you for the bags.
And they
But
bag it for
in the city and things like that, they charge you for the bags, and it'll be in, you know, places that are close to poor neighborhoods or in poor neighborhoods, they'll charge you 10 cents a bag, so it costs more to be poor, like you were saying.
It costs more
Yeah.
to be poor.
I didn't think about that, but
So-
she's absolutely right. The bag thing kind of threw me because I went to pick up my niece, and she lives in Indiana. Her mom met me at 87th and a Dan Ryan. So me and my grandbaby went in there to get snacks and stuff. And the lady ringing me up, and she was like, "Do you want a bag?"
You're like, yeah.
And I looked at her and I said, "What do you?" She said, "Do you want a bag for your food?" And I'm looking at her, so I laughed. I said, "Yeah." She said, How many bags do you want?" And I said, "Well, how many bags do you need?" I mean, I'm going back and forth because I'm looking at her, and people on the other register looking at me like I'm crazy. And she said, "You're not from out here, are you?" I said, "No, I'm picking up my niece." She said, "Well, I'm gonna give them to you because I was gonna have to charge you 15 cents for 4 bags." I looked at her like, "Well, how's I gonna carry that?" And she said, "The best way you."
That's why you see people coming out the stores with stuff.
I didn't know. I'm in the car calling everybody. "Do you know they charge 15?" Because I was like,
15 cents a bag.
You are not.
You have to pay. It's unbelievable. So the fight for the minimum wage goes deeper because it's a team fight. It's a small business who have 50 or fewer employees feel like they should get a tax break from the state because they're saying my business is too small, I don't generate enough revenue. You want to support small business. You want to help African American entrepreneurs and people get on their feet. So you do want to keep the prices where they can manage. But that argument is relevant for 50 or fewer, but for companies who have more than 50 employees, I don't know that argument benefits them. And then you have, this was the big one for me that I learned, it's called the tip provision. So you go to a restaurant, you giving a tip. You think you're giving them a tip to accommodate what they just provided, good service for you. You're really subsidizing their income.
Yes.
So the restaurant only pays them 60%.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Your tips will get them that other 40% of their pay first. And so by the end of that week, they should be paid what it should total out in tips. Then if it's anything extra, then they see a actual tip.
But isn't that the same thing? Because they do that for hairstylists. They have to report
bartenders?
something now. They can't just
nail technicians.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I know that's changed for anybody in the hair industry. Barbers, nail techs, pedicures.
Well, that's why a lot of them go up on their prices.
Yeah,
and a lot of people,
too.
Black women, we get so upset when our hairstylists go up on their prices, but they have to be able to live.
They can't just get away before like they could just say this
That's
is
true,
good.
but girl, they shouldn't be paying those $65 just for washing the blow dry.
Baby, I go every time, natural hair, and I can.
Yeah, I can't.
I won't eat to get my hair done.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that one no more. Yeah.
I won't eat lunch to get my hair done.
But that's what I don't
sacrifice.
understand about the minimum wage. So now
Yeah.
you just broke it
Yes.
down, Senator Lifer. You broke it all the way down.
Yes.
So then my thing is when they go to the table, they can't say, well, okay, teenagers between the age of 17 and this should get this. Business owners, you know, that have, you know, fewer than 50 should be in this bracket, and you know, and then but then at the end of the day, everybody should be able to raise, like you said, with the progressive tax every so many years or every other year or something, because everything else continues to go up.
And that sorry, I didn't mean to cut anybody off, but I was saying that I think that so I wanted to more so ask you a question on you, like you were saying that everything is going up. Is that, do you believe that is because that our money isn't backed by like silver or gold anymore? Do you feel like because it's backed by our pretty much our credit system at this point? So, you know, cars, anything that you can finance, this is what our money is backed by. So do you feel like that is the reason that inflation is so high? And do you feel like the reason why our employees aren't being paid to keep up with that is because it is an old viewpoint on employees versus a new form of backing our money?
That's good.
Well, and it's hard for me to answer that without giving you a little bit of something. I don't know how people feel about my response, if they're comfortable or not, but it's called the old boy network, right? Okay. It's that system that don't like to have us at the table. And the more and more they find that they have to allow us to the table, the game changes. The plan changes. The way business is conducted constantly shifts. And I just want to take you to when President Obama first became president, he had to save the auto industry and he had to save the banking industry, right? Because of the previous presidents was the Bushes for quite a while. And they were turning us into an oil industry, because that's what they do in Texas and Florida from where they're from. So the oil and the gasoline. Remember when our gas went up to like almost, was it $5 a gallon?
Oh my God.
Remember that? So it wasn't a crediting industry that they was turning to. They were going for the gusto and how they were raising their money and making their money. So now we're just, I guess President Obama spent some time trying to change that dynamic, but to undo something that challenging. 8 years, he did okay. I mean, more people were able to afford cars. More cars were being built. We were able to get finance for more automobiles than ever before. A lot of the banks, they still don't loan us money like they should, right? But they're still viable where they can give you a home loan, but it's not going to be worth a whole lot, right? So you might be able, and I might be able to go get approved for $130,000, $150,000 home, but prior, we probably couldn't get approved at all. They'll say, well, your credit is too low. Your credit score is too low. You don't bring in enough income. We can't approve you for a mortgage, right? So that helps. So I don't know if I can answer your question. If I think it's a number of things, right? And I think it's coming from every angle because they just control the coin, period. They control the coin. And so more of us have to be in positions where we can empower ourselves economically to make this money so then we could come in together. I'm going to take you back to medical marijuana for a minute. Just for them to fill out an application. So when you talk about it, it's $1 billion industry. So you got cultivation, you have distribution, you have retailers. These are all the different licenses that are going on. Not one African American owns a cultivation license in the state.
I found that out too.
They're making billions, not millions, billions. Okay, so now when you look at that, you say, who are the users, right? And it's not just African Americans like people think. We're the ones on the low end that's getting arrested and going to jail, but because we're doing underground street stuff. But if you make it legal, and then block black folks from ownership, they still keep all the income.
Right. That's what Jay-Z was saying when he made Tidal. He was saying that there are no black distribution companies. So that's why he had made it. So you're saying that with that, even if we did open up our stores to, you know, sell recreational marijuana, they still would be getting the coin at the end of the day.
Oh, because the application price, just to file for an application is $25,000. just the application. That ain't no guarantee that you're gonna get nothing. So
Wow.
how many of us can afford to just take $25,000
I
to
can
the
see
table?
doing it if I'm guaranteed.
If you guaranteed.
But if you ain't guaranteed,
You'll get
then-
nothing. They just tell you, and
No
so
percentage back or nothing.
just to let, and there aren't any. So how many black folks actually put up $25,000 and didn't get nothing from it? They just lost their money.
Now
And I
Shaquille
don't think
O'Neal's
we
wife,
risk take. Yeah.
she's actually, I don't know how far she is right now, but I know she's actually about to own her own distribution
Mhm.
center. So the process,
And she got big bucks
she
to
got
do
big,
it, right?
right.
And if she lost 25,000,
It
it
would
may
be
not
nothing.
even hurt her. 25,000 gonna hurt me.
Me, I'm gonna be in mourning.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna need some other folks to come
Right.
through.
25,000 is
That's
gonna
right.
hurt me, and I'm gonna second guess that and third guess that thing all day long.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at
Dang.
people right now saying, well, 5 of us could put up 5,000 each just to get an application.
Yeah.
Right.
in. This is
That's
what
the only way
people
we
in the
can be able
black
to do it.
community are
Exactly.
doing.
Yeah, let's go 10
And
people.
then you got to be willing, right? You got to be willing
Willing
to
to lose
lose
it.
5,000
Yes.
And I don't
if
know
they
if I'm
don't
willing
mess
to
up
do
your
that.
application fee.
I would need some kind of
That's-
guarantee or something.
That is
That's
a
only
lot.
the application fee.
Oh
So
my
they want
God.
us to be able to show that we have a whole lot more than we really do.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So it's always like at the end of the day, are we sustainable?
Right.
Can we provide enough that'll show, okay, after the application fee, if you want to have a cultivation center, you need the land, you need the building, you need processing. So you're looking at a big, yes.
$1 million investment.
So with you were saying, so do you think that because Darci wanted to get into education as well, so do you feel like reforming the education system will help with getting people to that state where they are capable of going through the education system and learning how to make your own business and how to do you feel like that will help with that problem?
I love this young lady because you're speaking the language that your generation needs to hear.
Yes.
Because what happens is education reform to me says everyone's not college bound. We're all encouraging our kids to go to college, but suppose they don't. What do they do the day after they graduate high school?
They still got
What do they do the day they turn 18, right? So for me, reforming education means more training opportunities back in the schools. So when I was coming up through Provisoes, you could either take foods, you could take shops, you could take sewing, you could take economics. All of that is gone.
Yes.
And just think about it. You would think someone who want Versace know how to sew.
Exactly.
Donna Karen know how to sew. The high-end designers know how to sew. And if we want to start our own fashion lines and businesses, we got to know how to do these type of things.
Yes.
So if you're a young lady or a young man and you say, well, I want to start my own clothing line, well, it would have been good if they were in a sewing class while they were in high school and learning how to sew, then can get into the industry of learning how to market. They still got to know management. They got to still know marketing. Still have to know how to run a business, but at least know your skill, right? And what we've done is remove skill building out of high schools, even foods. You go to these fine restaurants, those chefs get paid good money to be a chef, right? We're not the chefs in these restaurants because we're not being taught the latest trends and how to make it look pretty on the plate. And, we still doing soul food. Now, you're going to have a few soul food restaurants in the community, but if you want to get paid money, you got to know how to be a chef know how to cook a variety of things, know how to make it presented on the plate, know hospitality. That whole industry is missing, but they used to teach it to us in the classroom. That's wiped out too. It's gone. So one of the first things I like to do is restore a lot of training back into the high school piece. I mean, from trades. Why can't you know how to be an electrician and learn how to be a plumber? They get paid $40, $50 an hour out the gate. Why can't we put more of our people in apprentice programs and they learn how to build and do construction? You see all these construction site jobs, you don't see no black people on them, or you see the black flag, and the only one black out there standing there holding the doggone flag and holding the stop sign. Exactly. But all the workers are not African Americans, and they're getting paid $40, $50, $60 an hour, union scale wages to do those jobs. So it's really about what can we teach our young people so that they can have skills and they can get jobs right out the gate out of high school that they otherwise would not get because they're not looking for that 4-year university route, or they're not going to that 2-year community college, but they need a skill. Right. So we have to reform our education system to put skill building opportunities back in our high schools.
I agree.
Yeah, because in high school I did shop. I was able to
I
take
did
a
too.
piece
I
of
made
wood,
a tic-tac-toe board. I made my name,
which could lead to construction, which could lead
Right.
to me understanding. Because then in
Printing.
school, it wasn't just you had to take the classroom first before you got into the shop.
Right.
We wanted to get into the shop, but
Right.
you had to go do this work
Mhm.
and learn about what you're about to do first,
Mhm.
which makes sense about the whole education.
and I took
and-
sewing. I
yeah,
took
you
so I
took
made
sewing.
outfits with
Yeah.
the vest. I can't. I mean, and I just bought a new machine and took another sewing class.
And then
But
cooking.
you're right. Cooking. They had
Eggs
cooking.
Benedict. Everybody learned how to do eggs.
You
That-
can make
with the
meat.
holes, the egg in the holes.
Yes.
You
And
learned
we
that.
learned how to decorate the
Food.
plate. We didn't
Yeah.
have
It was
etiquette.
hospitality.
How to
Yes.
Oh yes, how to.
So I
yeah.
remember
Yeah.
all that, but they don't have that. They don't have
yeah.
that. now.
Even
And-
this piece here, who's making this?
Right.
It's all about learning how to do printing and graphics.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Black folks are creative. We're
Yeah.
creative
Agreed.
people. We can do this. And once you teach us this skill, then we need the resources to start our own business and being able to do that.
Right.
And then that's where we have to reform our finance systems and all of that. So it's so much that has to be done to just bring people from the bottom
Yeah.
up.
Right.
But it's not that it cannot happen,
Right.
right? So
She done made my mind
can't
is like
do
all
that.
over the place.
No,
I
it's
gotta
like
make an
thinking.
appointment because it's something I wanted to do, but now I done thought about hearing her.
What, Darcy?
I have to tell her. I gotta make an appointment. I'm serious. Y'all can go with me when I'm serious because
Where we going?
it's just opened up
Interest.
something that I wanted to do, but now what she said, it shifted the mindset.
Mhm.
So my goal, and I got it wrote all out, was to open up an entrepreneurship school.
nice.
Now, I had 25 careers.
Mm.
It didn't matter if they got a GED,
Mhm.
because everybody can't do school, and I had to come to that realization.
Yeah, baby.
But they had to go through entrepreneurship, management to change their
That's
mindset,
good.
how to know how to add, how to know how to promote their business. But then they got a mentor after they passed, and they had to have a certain score.
Mhm.
But then my goal was to get a grant, but to also get money from unemployment because they want them off unemployment, public aid because they want them off of TANF. So I have did the homework and called different people for different fields so that it's funded, but and it's based on their income.
Right.
But it was 20, and then they will all be assigned to a mentor. This means somebody who is already doing this, making money, and can be their mentor.
So that's DCEO. I would encourage you to check DCEO as well.
I gotta do that. But when she said that, I'm just like, she's like, who made this? And I'm just going, wow, alarm, because it's now it's making even more sense.
Right.
Because the crime will go down because people will be able to take care of their families
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
and not
It's-
have to struggle
It's,
like
it's a
they
form
are
of
now.
violence prevention. When people talk about what are you going to do to get the guns off the street, give people jobs.
Yeah.
That's going to help them get the guns
And
off the street.
training.
Educate
Right.
them so
Right.
that their only option is now I can just go sit out here and pass a few
Yeah.
bags and make more money in this
Right.
hour than I did all week, right? Or I can make, and so it's an easier hustle for them to do things illegal. But we got to convince our people that they want to have sustaining lifestyles. They
Right.
want to be able to bring their children up and show them something different. And that's what we got to convince our young people so that you don't have the Van Dyke situation
Yes.
where he get a slap on his wrist for killing somebody. He pulls up on the scene. All them officers out there, if ain't none of them shot him yet, then why you gonna pull up on the
like
scene?
a threat? Because that was my last
And you
question.
pull,
I had to
and you
ask
pull
her that.
up on the scene now, right?
Right.
And you go get out and shoot the man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many times you shoot him?
16.
Hello, somebody.
Because you
So
could have shot him
you
in the
shot
arm or
to
the
kill
leg
him.
and been done.
And you shot to kill him, and you drove up on the scene, and then you get 81 months. Now, and then the 3 other officers acquittal.
That's why I knew he was gonna get something. I didn't know
I
what.
knew
When
it
they
was gonna be
acquitted them
minimum.
3,
Then
I
you
knew
knew it was
that
gonna
he was
be-
not. And then he
Exactly.
started off the sentencing. He didn't want to be on camera.
Uh-huh.
But then he started off with all these scenarios. Like I could go this way, but then I would have to do the 16 consecutive, so I would have to held him accountable for all 16.
Which is a perfect example of knowing that the verdict was going to be what it was.
Right.
Because
So then
anybody that has something wrong for you, they have to explain themselves.
Why. And then
when he started explaining himself, I'm like, oh my God.
He went through, I was in school, and then he said, so if I went through this verdict, then it could be sustainable by probation.
Trying to make us feel bad.
House arrest,
81 months.
or this, or time served. So I went with the lesser. How could you even feel your mindset to go with the lesser? And this man shot this young boy 16 times.
And remember,
I know that's execution style. I don't care what you say.
Remember, he didn't. The 16 shot is what killed him.
Right.
The 15 shots didn't kill him. That 16 shot. This is after watching the trial. Like I was addicted. The 16 shot is what killed him.
And the mother said she felt like her son was killed all over again.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's a hurtful feeling for the families have to endure. But as an elected official, just a lover for black people, my whole point to the black community is don't go riot and loot and tear up.
And that was what I was worried about.
And tear up where you live. Because it will roll us all the way back to the riots when King got killed. They never fixed Madison and Pulaski. They never fixed strips in black neighborhoods. They never restored them. So here you are 50 years later, and the community still look like crap. So you have to know that you got to take care of your own. You can't destroy your own because you're upset. You got to advocate and fight that thing in a different way. And don't use, poor judgment. So let's get together and figure out how do we stop this from happening with the police. They're supposed to protect us, and yet they provided all these obstacles for us where we don't feel safe from our own police. We don't feel. I feel like they've oppressed us, and they've done the opposite of made us feel warm and welcomed in our neighborhoods. And so how do we change that dynamic?
So that was my question to you. Okay, so hearing this verdict, because I have a son that's in his 30s, and I pray for him all the time. I be like, text me that you home,
right? Teenager.
Elijah 7.
Isaiah 7. He's 17.
Oh my goodness.
He'll be 18 in July.
I'm like, I know she ain't talking about.
He's a freshman at Clark Atlanta.
Goodness.
Wow, my brother graduated from Clark.
So what do we as a people that have sons, nephews, grandsons, what do we do after we hear this? What do we do as a community? What do we start to do? Because to me, it starts with the judicial system. Because how should he have a choice in which one he select? So I heard now they tell him to get him off the bench, but he's retiring, so we can't even get him off the bench. So it's like, what? How do we go back and say that you don't get a choice in which one? He should have been spending 20 to 30 or 40 years.
Right.
And this other probation mess shouldn't have even been something that should have been up for discussion.
I've said this, I'm the chairman of the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus, and I sent out a press release, and I said we have to reform our judicial system so that those opportunities don't exist. The crime has to fit the offense. The crime and the time, they have to kind of fit one another.
Together.
And it can't be based on which judge makes the decision, So if Judge A and he gonna give you a little lenient sentence and you got some kind of connection, you're like, well, make sure this case go over here. Well, no matter if it was Judge A, B, or C, they should all see the same, right? So, and you can't fix it because if I was poor and down and out and struggling, I don't have a lawyer, I only got a public defender, they gonna throw my stuff wherever. I'm not gonna get Judge A.
No.
Guaranteed not to get Judge
A.
But because I didn't have that influence and I don't have those resources, I fell over to Judge C, who just gonna put the hammer on me regardless.
But why do they get that much control? I get who they are.
They got that flexibility.
It's like, this is my courtroom.
Right.
And it should be some kind of foundational
just
laws that you have, or standards that you have to abide by, and then put your stuff on top of that. But it shouldn't be so.
It should be a floor.
Because people in my family, we've been to court, and they'll say, like, this is the worst judge in Cook County, or this is this. So to answer your question, I really think we have to do like history. We have to go and look at these judges' track records. We have to go and read up on them, like for real.
That's the hardest thing because it'd be so many judges on your list. You don't know who's good and bad unless someone starts a movement. So here's an example of what we could do.
Start a movement.
Yeah, instead of you being upset and tearing up your community, start a movement on that judge. that was Judge so-and-so. Everyone needs to know that, and then make sure that Judge so-and-so don't get elected no more. We got to get him out of there. So instead of you can't vote. So when it comes to the judges, you vote to retain them, right?
Okay.
So if we just say we're not gonna vote for the judge, you still gonna retain the judge. You got to
Because a lot of people don't vote for the judges.
You
When
just
I was on social media, it's like,
that
oh, that
part.
was too much. We just made sure we voted for the da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I'm learning, because I didn't know either. And now, listening to you today, you were exactly right. We need to start putting the judges. And a lot of people on social media are talking about we have to make sure we look at the judges. So it is something that we can do.
Right.
You know, start looking at these judges and just start putting a little bio on them and researching them and just starting that trend. We should do that.
Because
You know, for our
share
generation.
so much on social media.
That's where it is.
And I'm not saying like, you know, don't do your own research, but we do
It's
so
good.
much sharing on social media. And there are some people that, you know, that you got that family member that's really good at politics. And I feel like we should just start educating ourselves and having be like, all right, well, you know, Jeffrey's really good at it. So Jeffrey, could you do it, you know, once a month, you know,
just
do
once a week, start
once
doing
a week
it.
do a bio or let us know, you know, like, cause you do the research on it and I don't, you know, I can't follow it that well. Or
and
I'll post it for
and
and
get
a
the
link,
list.
right, and a link to it.
And
Right.
as soon as we get
Exactly.
the names, right? Like we can do that. That's
I want to
exciting.
encourage more of the Black community just to get involved with government. And a lot of times we just don't. We just feel like that's not important. I don't vote. I don't want to be a part of that. That's just politics. They all dirty. But what happens at government level controls so much of the community, and it affects us from our pockets, where we live, how we live, how much we pay, how much we get paid. All of that is governed by this government system that we have been traditionally locked out of. So now when you have more elected officials, African Americans at the table, and they can be a voice for you at the table, you have to respond to that too.
Right.
You know, you have a duty, a job to do. You can't just say, oh, all politicians are crooked, I hate them. No, everybody ain't crooked.
Right.
You know, and some people are working their butt off fighting for you, but it's all in numbers. So we're lucky in our area that we have Black representation. If you look across the state, it's a lot of Black people, and the other pockets have never had a Black elected official.
Right.
Ever. Advocating on their behalf. I'm doing that for the Black people that live down in Cairo. I'm doing that for the Black people that live down in Rock Island. I'm doing that for the ones that live in Decatur. It's Black folks everywhere that have never had any voice for them at the table. So their needs aren't being met. Right? And then you fall into that hole of violence, and you fall into that hole of crime. You fall into that hole of, I got to get a GED. I can't finish school. This doesn't work for me, because it's designed not to work for you.
Right.
It's designed not to work for you. And if you continue to keep the mindset that I don't want to be a part of that, that's some BS, and that, you know, this and that, you're not going to win.
Right.
You're just not going to win.
Say it again.
You're not.
Right.
That's why what Darci promotes all the time is that 7 streams of income.
Right.
What you talked about earlier, she is an advocate, making sure, even not only just for herself, her passion is to help us all be able to just find those streams of income. I saw a lady, I thought about you, I went to send you the link. 2 sisters were in the government. They lost their job, and they started selling cheesecakes.
And
they get thousands of dollars.
And Ellen's bought 1 cheesecake and sent them a check for $20,000.
And now everybody wants, a cheesecake, because guess what? Ellen,
right?
Yeah.
Bought one.
But their business was booming though, because they had made like almost 200.
That's crazy.
Because they don't have a check. They had to do something.
But that's
what she was saying about, you know,
what
a trade.
Yeah.
What
passionate at? How many gifts and talents have God
something.
given you that you can make money off of it? But if you don't even know how to get started, you got to seek somebody out and say, hey, I got this idea.
Don't just sit at home and say, I wait for the phone to ring.
Right. How can I shape this? How can I make something out of this? And then get that backing and support you need. And that's how we come together as a community.
Well, I done learned a lot today. And I'm super excited that she is in the building. I want her to come back.
She gotta come back.
We ran out of time, but I want her to come back and share more with us as it becomes available. Talk about the progressive tax. I want her to come and talk about her interior design skills. We can send some customers her way.
Amen.
But I really thank her, because I know she has a busy schedule, and I know she wasn't feeling well. And I really thank you from the bottom of my heart that you blessed us. And we've learned I mean, I thought I knew her, but I learned a whole lot more
Mm-hmm.
now. But you're doing an amazing job. We are so privileged to have you working on our behalf.
Thanks,
Sincerely.
Thanks,
Sincerely.
Darci. It's
Um,
been
Please
incredible.
follow her, support her, her reform, her passion for education. We need it. Vote. Look up the people on the ballot. If you have information, share it, whether it's good or bad, so that we can know. But most importantly, vote, because a lot of us don't.
Mm-hmm.
And we say, I'm not going to, but we need you to. And please share the broadcast. There is Bolingbrook SCORE is holding a complimentary headshot for entrepreneurs. If you can't afford to get a headshot, they're doing it for free next Tuesday, January 29th, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. You do have to register. It is free. They have a lot of tricks when you go and register. If you want the link, call me. I will have it posted by my assistant. They want you to dress appropriately for a photo shoot, wear colors that complement your skin. You know, make sure you touch up your makeup, do your hair. Men, make sure your tie, a bow tie, a shirt, everything is where it needs to be. And it is free. So this is another opportunity where we're trying to share information that's available to you for free, but you do have to get there. And I will have the link posted. Again, it's Tuesday, January 29th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Fountaindale Public Library, 300 West Briarcliff Road, second floor boardroom in Bolingbrook, Illinois. Again, thank you, Senator Lightford. We hope you feel better.
Yes.
Thank you for
Yes.
embracing our platform today.
Thank you.
In closing, build your own dreams, or someone else that will hire you to build theirs, and that could be one of us. And we're out, and thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Wow. There's so
Good
many other
job.
places we could have went. Like that conversation could
Yeah.
last.
That was nice.
That
To
was
3 o'clock.
that was powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good.
Yeah, yeah. But that's when she said look up, because I never did look at the judges. Never did.
Right.
And now I am going to, because that makes a huge difference.
So what happened when I was in the car about to vote, I put on Facebook, I'm like, oh my God, you guys, I need to vote for the judges. Somebody help me. And 3 people sent me like a list of these judges, like no, and they just had like maybe a bullet point of why and why not. And that was everything to me, because I took my phone and I was there. I was like, oh, nope, not you, not you, not you, because the list was pretty much the same across the board.
Right.
But somebody had to do that.
Yeah.
Somebody had to make
do that.
time
To look
get
up
that
their
together.
records.
And
To
I'm
look
looking
up
up,
their
and I'm be
records.
looking up this tax, this progressive tax, because we
Uh-huh.
need that.
We do need
Yeah.
the
That's,
Okay,
I
so-
didn't know that it was different levels like that with broken down. Like I didn't know that.
So for clarity with the progressive tax,
Uh-huh.
now you were saying that, okay, so say, just an example, say I paid 3% tax, and then you were saying that, like, okay, say I make 20,000 and I pay 3% on tax, and then
I make 100,000.
she makes 100,000,
So
and
she
it's
might pay 4K.
Hi, thanks for tuning
okay.
in.
And
So
I make